G'day, this is Lucia. Welcome to my art channel. In today's video, I am wanting to do a ribbon pour. Now, I've seen Anna Blunt Art and Chris Jezik, and recently I saw Cy Frost with his pouring partner and his lovely wife, Vanna, as she likes to be called on camera, doing a ribbon pour, and they were quite awesome. And what inspired me to use these colours that you see before you, these are fluorescent colours, and they're a cheap brand by ANKO, and they're all bright, which is what I want, mainly because the piece that Vanna did used bright colours and it came out really lovely. I really liked that piece. And my good friends, Darren from Venom Fluid Art and Nathan from The Fine Art of Distraction, always talk about using fluorescents or neons. They always say they're awesome, and I've never really been partial, never really been partial to fluorescents or neon colours, but I thought, well, why not give it a try? And these are good budget-friendly paints. As I said, they're called ANKO, and I got them from KMart, from anybody who's interested in Australia, who's interested in purchasing them. They're really cheap and really good for the bank balance. So these are the colours that I'm using. There's basically all they're called is bright purple, bright blue, bright light blue, bright green, bright pink, bright red, bright orange, and bright yellow. Now, I've already mixed them. Now, I know that Chris, I think, uses a recipe with glue oil, but I don't have glue oil. So I mixed my paints with what I had on hand. And what I had on hand was Liquitex Pouring Medium. And I also had a mixture of neutral base and Floetrol, which I mixed together. So I decided to put a little bit of that in the colours. So hopefully they're not too thin. They are a little bit thinner than normal. I think they're more like a Dutch pour mix. It's supposed to be a little bit thicker than that. Let me see if I can show you. I can find a stick. So they are quite thin. And I believe they should be probably a little bit thicker than that, but we'll see how it goes. This is just a bit of a trial. You know me and my experiments. I like to experiment. Haven't had a chance to play prior, as usual. Just going to give this a wipe. Now, you know what I did forget? The base colour. I'm such a silly person, I am, and I don't have... Do I have any white mixed? Probably. Oh, I've got a little bit of white mixed. I used the white, the titanium white, Mont Marte. This has got Floetrol in it. It's not quite enough, I don't think, but anyway, we'll see. Maybe it'll be enough just to give it just a little bit. It's actually a little bit thicker. So maybe what I'll do, take it out and make it the same as the other paints, is just add a tad water. I believe if the paint's too thin, then the paint doesn't actually hold up when you're doing the ribbon pours. So these may not work out, but I thought I'd give it a go anyway and see. That's better. All right, here goes. Wish me luck. And hopefully I've got enough paint here. So in a little cup, I'm going to put the colours from dark. light. Probably do it in a clean pour if I can. Thing is, as I said, the paints might be a little too thin, so it'd be interesting to see how it's going to work out. It's going to be a lot of paint, so I'm not going to not use all the colours. I mean, as in not all of the paint from all the colours. Probably should have put something in between those two colours. It's a bit hard to see. Should have swapped the orange with the red. But too late now. Yeah, I'm thinking that's a lot of paint, but anyway, we'll see how we go. Okay. Now I believe if you do it from up high, it gives you smaller lines. If you do it up closer, it gives you bigger lines. I want to try and get, whoops, go off the canvas. Just trying to get all the colours if I can. I don't think I'm going to get purple. I think that's a lot of paint. Oh, there's a bit of purple. All right. Okay, give that a bit of a torch. There's a lot of bubbles in there. And hope for the best. I really probably should wear gloves because I reckon I'm going to get it all over my hands. And while I don't mind paint on my hands, I do have to work tomorrow, so I said when I don't have meetings, but we have meetings, so I don't think I really want my fingers to be too grotty with paint. Well, my bosses know that I love to paint. I think that's too runny. Now, probably a little too much paint, to be honest. But we'll see what we can do, hey? Yeah, I'm thinking it's way too much paint. Sorry, you're not going to see that, are you? Too much paint, and it's a little runny, which means that you can already see, it's a bit hard for you guys to see, but you can already see it fading on the ends there because the paint is too thin. Yeah, not really doing it for me. Yeah, not really what I was after. I think it was too thin and probably too much paint. I like the colours. Colours are actually quite good. I love, I think they've turned out quite nice, even though I'm not a big fan of fluorescents and neons. They're actually quite nice. Ooh, don't like that. See if I can pull that off altogether. There's a lot of paint on there, so there's still a lot of movement, so I could probably manipulate it a little bit more. But I can't say I'm loving it. It reminds me a lot of when I first started 18 months ago and I was still learning consistencies, the kind of paintings that I was doing back then. Because my consistencies were out, and I think these are way too thin for this method. But I don't ever think they're a fail, primarily because I love to embellish. And I know you can't see what I'm doing here, sorry. So I don't ever consider them a fail because I can always come back and embellish over the top of them. Worst case scenario, or just re-pour over them if they're really, really bad, which I think this one might be. But those colours are quite nice. I just don't like the composition, nor do I like the design of that very much. Yeah, I think the consistency is a little way off. So I might have to come back and do that again at some stage. Probably my next video. I might do it again and thicken up the paints a little bit. Let's give it a bit of a torch. I was hoping I'd get some cells, but no, nothing like that at all. I like this bit here. It's like an ink splotch. It doesn't look much like paint. It looks more like ink splotch. And it could be because it's so thin. And this bit here is a little bit faded and stretched. It's not too bad. I can't say it's really bad. I love the colours, despite the fact not being a big fan of neons. So the colours are actually beautiful and vibrant. I'm liking the colours a lot. I'm just not liking the composition much. Although there's some little bits, like I said, that are really cool. I like that bit there. I don't mind those like striated stretches from the paint. Something interesting is happening here. I'm not really sure what, but looks like the blues become transparent. And the other colours are coming through. Yeah, different. Different. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to keep it because I want to see what it looks like when it dries. And then once it dries, I will decide whether I'll keep it, whether I embellish it, or what I do with it. Not the effect that I was going for, though. I did want it to be more of a ribbon. This is not a ribbon. This is more like a just dirty pour, really. And I think it's because I used way too much paint. But I'm not loving it. That was a 20 by 30 centimetre tile, if I didn't mention that before. I might give it another go. This time with just the paints, with just the leftover paints. They're still thin, but this time rather than pour it into the cup as a dirty pour, I'm only going to just spread the colours over the top and see what happens. And I probably should clean up underneath. That would be the first thing one would do. Now, as I said, this time I'm just going to pour whatever paints I've got over the top. without a base because I want to see what happens. It's probably my mistake. Alright, let's see what happens when I tilt this. So I might just give it a blowtorch. And because I had used a dry base, it doesn't seem to be moving as well as it should. Again, it's giving me that really stretched, faded look. And what I might do, see if I can do it like so. Just to cover those bits where it doesn't seem to have enough paint. Okay. Okay, I'm thinking this one might be better than the other one. It's not as good as I would like, of course. And I think there's a little gloop in that, which I'll come back and grab in a minute. Yeah, I'm liking that one better. Certainly liking that one much, much better than the other one. As far as composition and design's going, colours are gorgeous. I mean, that's beyond a doubt. I actually quite like those colours. I love bright colours, so you'd think I would be partial to the neons, but I haven't in the past, so it doesn't mean that I'm not going to be. It is thin though, and you can tell around the edges just how thin that is, because it doesn't seem to want to hold up. But maybe if I clean up the bottom there, like so. Yeah. Lesson to this video is don't use thin paints like I did. Use them a little bit thick. Probably a 1:2 ratio. I'm thinking is probably a good. I'm not sure. Check out Chris Jezek's recipe. I think she has her recipe in her description box of her ribbon pours, if I remember correctly. If you want to use glue oil, I didn't want to use glue oil because I don't have any, and I'm trying to use up whatever I have around the house because at the moment I'm on a budget. So hence why the brand of neons that I've got are a cheaper brand, because I wanted to try them before I go ahead and buy neon ones in the more expensive paints. I think they're cool. They're not, like I said, it looks like it's faded a little bit on this side. So I wonder if it's still moving. Is it moving still? If it's still moving, maybe I'll take it down a bit. No. Okay. All right, I'll bring you down, give you a close-up of both of them, and you can tell me what you think for first off. Okay, I've never done a ribbon pour before. Or, well, no, I lie. I have done ribbon pours before, but not in a ribbon pour situation. It's sort of been I'll be doing a ring pour or a dirty pour or something, and then I go into the ribbon pour mode and do some ribbons on the canvas. But I haven't actually done it as a ribbon pour per se. This is my first time. And I can't say they've worked out. I think I have 1, too much paint, 2, they're too thin, and I think I need to go back to the drawing board before I attempt this again. So maybe next week I'll do another one. We'll play it by ear, but I'm loving the colours. Darren, Nathan, you've convinced me that these colours are gorgeous. So yes, I'm loving them. They're actually really, really pretty. And I like it in this design much better than I do in the other. I really like this one. I'm digging it. Anyway, all right, so I'll bring you down. You can have a close-up. Tell me what you think. And I'll come back and do this again. And here we are. Here's the close-up. The ends look a little bit faded, like I said. So it could well be because the paint is too thin and I think it's just running off the edge. But, you know, I've cleaned the underneath. But those colours are just, wow. I'm actually liking those colours. I wasn't expecting that. But I have liked them when I've seen other people use them, and I thought, oh, gee, they look great. But I've never been one to be partial to them. But anyway, that's that one. No cells. And I don't know whether that's a paint thing or whether that might be just my mixture concoction. Although I had Aussie Floetrol in there, you'd think that would have done something. But maybe the neon paints don't let you do that. I think I've heard the boys say something like that. And here's the other one. I love that bit there. It's sort of got a bit of a watercolour ink splotch thing happening. So I'm not really keen on this composition much. But I do love those colours. Colours are awesome. I'm thinking this one would make a good embellishment of sorts. Just haven't decided what yet. I will let them dry because they will dry darker. And we'll see what comes of it. Anyway, that was my first trial. I will go back to the drawing board, remix my paints a little thicker, and come back and do it again. Meanwhile, if you liked my videos, please like, comment, share and subscribe. And hit that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload the next video. So until next time, take care. Bye.